Am I the arsehole? Itch for allowing only my twins at my wedding, but no other children? I'm getting married soon, and I've decided that I don't want children at my wedding except for my 7-year-old twins. They mean a lot to me, and I want them to be part of my big day. They'll be with the babysitter the entire time at the reception, so they won't be a bother to anyone. My siblings have young kids, and they were really upset about my decision. They said it's unfair for me to allow my kids but not theirs. They accused me of being selfish and said I should either invite all the family's children or none at all. They even threatened not to attend my wedding if I don't change my mind. I think they're being dramatic, and I believe I have the right to choose who I want at my wedding. I love my nieces and nephews, but I don't want them to disrupt the atmosphere of the celebration. I also don't want to exclude my own kids because they are my children, and I want them to witness me marrying their father. Am I the arsehole? For allowing only my twins at my wedding, but no other children? Not the arsehole. Anyone with a brain can accept that the bridegroom's kids are special case. Not the arsehole. You're so selfish for wanting your wedding to be all about us. Nata, it's your wedding. In fairness, I could understand why it would feel maybe like a slight to your sister, but she needs to remember it's not about her or her kids. Not the arsehole. You just cannot exclude your kids from their mom's and dad's wedding. They should be there. Just 2 kids with babysitter most probably won't affect the whole thing, but bunch of young kids definitely will, so for me it's very understandable decision. Not the arsehole. There is a difference between children and your children. But will your twins find it a bit lonely not having their cousins to play with at the wedding? Being a child at an adult-only situation can be a bit boring even if it is a wedding. I can see your siblings' point of view, but be prepared not to have them at your wedding. Not the arsehole. At first I thought you meant you only wanted your twins there and not your other children, in which case you would have sucked, but no. It's totally normal to have the bridegroom's children at a wedding and no other children. Your siblings need to be over themselves. Info: are you 100 fine with your siblings not attending, i.e. you wouldn't badmouth or resent them for not coming? Also, do they know that? Totally normal decision to make. Have a lovely wedding. It's your wedding. You get to decide who you want there. Guests can decide whether or not they want to or can attend based on the details. Not the arsehole. For all the people in the back, children are people. People are invited or not. If it's your wedding, you invite the people you invite, and don't invite others. If some of those others happen to be young, and if their parents were invited, a babysitter will probably be needed. So what? The parents are free to accept or decline the invitation for themselves. They are not free to demand to bring someone who wasn't invited. End of. I don't think weddings should have to be designated child-free. They are all invitation only. If the children aren't on the invitation, it should be assumed that they aren't invited. Not the arsehole. You can have any kind of wedding that you want, of course. But you also have to be prepared for some guests being unable to come if they can't arrange for childcare, and you'll have to be willing to accept that. Not the arsehole. You can choose whoever you want to be at your wedding. And anyone you exclude can be pissed off about it as well. You get to make whatever decisions you want, but you do not get to control the reactions of others. Your wedding, your rules. Just make sure you're happy if your siblings don't attend. Not the arsehole. Your wedding, your rules. Your wedding, your kids. Seems perfectly reasonable. That said, if they don't want to attend, tell them that's perfectly acceptable and no hard feelings will be held. No, probably not. Back in the day, weddings were mostly for families to get together and celebrate. That included all the nephews and nieces. But recent times that has fallen out of favor. One factor is the venue will count every kid as an adult for pricing. Oh good. Another child-free wedding post. Not the arsehole. Your wedding, your choice. However, you have to be ready for the parents to not attend. If you are good with that, thank them for their no RSVP and tell them you will miss them. If you want them there, you have to change your rule. There is no other way. They are trying to guilt you into allowing the kids, and if you don't want them, they are not invited. Nah. You have the right to set your own guest list. Your invitees have the right to decline the invitation if it doesn't work for them. How dare you want to make your wedding to the father of your children wait? Why is this a problem? Not the asshole, obviously. I actually don't understand why there's so many posts of people complaining when they can't bring their kids to a wedding. Understandably, you want your own children at your own wedding, but anytime I've been invited to weddings I've never asked for my kids to come. It's always been a great excuse to have a fun night away in a hotel with my own and no kids. Not the asshole. Do what you can live with. I will tell you that family will hold a grudge on this for the rest of their lives, so be prepared to hear about it from now on. They're your children. They aren't equal to other children, because they're yours. And it's your wedding. Why that's hard for people confuses me. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. As you said, these are your and your husband's children. They are a huge part of why you're getting married, the living symbol of your love for each other. Not only should they be there, but it would be great if they had an active part in the ceremony. Sorry, but your siblings are wrong. They don't see the importance of your children being there to witness the marriage of their parents. And, as always, it's your wedding. You get to decide who's invited. Not the asshole, it's your wedding. You are paying for it, and you get to decide who can come. Look, I'm not going to vote cause this is something I don't understand, but can anyone explain to me why people think kids are such a massive problem at a wedding? What exactly is the atmosphere people on this sub are so concerned about not disrupting? Kids are so traditionally a part of an American wedding that they have special roles within the ceremony. Like, what is the atmosphere you're going for? Hushed classical concert? Sexy cocktail party with an orgy afterwards? All of the wedding I've gone to have had a few kids around and I just don't get it. Not the asshole. Your party, your bill, your say. People who want to use your wedding for grandstanding and free babysitting are declaring their true colors and can stay home if they want. There are tons of other situations in life that are adults only. It's your wedding. They are your children. OFC they can should be there. Smiley face, Natar. Not the asshole, but you had to expect this reaction. It may be your wedding, but if your family have younger kids then they are going to be upset that you are excluding them. Love that the siblings think that the kids you made are less family to you than your siblings are. LOL. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your children are the exception as they should be. Not the asshole. Typically I would say weddings aren't a place for kids as they get bored and start acting up. It's just not fun for them. But this, as you said, is their parents getting married. This is a big deal to them and something that they will remember for a long time, so yeah, you should have them there. Your siblings don't have the right to dictate your big day at all. Not the asshole. You have every reason to want your children there, and every reason to exclude other children. You are also taking steps to ensure your children are being supervised and cared for during the reception. Your siblings likely figured they could bring their children, pawn them off on relatives, and then cut loose and party at the reception without much care or attention given to their own children. I'd why so many people on here are so upset. Seems like lots of projection. It's your wedding. Everyone else needs to get over themselves. I don't understand people who are so happy to get what they want by being difficult. ETA. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I didn't want kids at my wedding minus my nieces and nephews. Made it clear in the invitations and doubly clear on the response cards. People still brought their kids. FML. People suck. This is your wedding. You do exactly what you want. Am I the asshole? For being surprised at how much my girlfriend sells her hobby craft for? I and my girlfriend have been living together for about a year, together for 2. Since we've been together she's always had this hobby of making dice for TTRPGs. I don't really understand how it works because I'm not into it, but the dice she makes are beautiful even to someone who doesn't understand. She's always sold them. She takes a long weekend every fortnight and mass produces 20 or so full sets, then she sells them. They always sell out pretty instantly, and I knew she made money but not how much, and TBH I don't really care as long as she pays her half of the bills, which she always does. Unfortunately, after making them this past weekend, she broke her wrist and she needed help to put her listings up because she can't type well. I found out that she sells them for £100, £115. I expressed my surprise that people spend that much on these things. She was offended and I tried to explain Am I the asshole? For not letting my wife babysit her nieces and nephews even though she wants to? I'll keep this short. My wife has two younger sisters that she doesn't get along with at all. To the point they weren't invited to our wedding because she just knew they would ruin it. During family gatherings at my wife's parents' house, her sisters always take the chance to disrespect my wife. She ignores them for the most part and doesn't have much contact with them. Other than events, she contacts them to babysit her nieces and nephews. I don't mind them, they're good kids. However, it's clear her sisters just see her as free childcare. Recently they've been dumping their kids on us more often. If it's not at home, then it's at her workplace. My wife works at a salon, and the kids just sit until Sills come to pick them up. It's to the point I don't even consider babysitting anymore, more like they want my wife to take all the parts of being a mom they don't want. My wife is currently staying home because of health issues, yet she still accepted to babysit Sills' kids. I turned Sills away at the door, and blocked it so my wife wouldn't open it. This was 2 days in a row. My wife is currently mad at me, so I'm wondering if am I the asshole? You may be right, but here's where you went wrong. I turned Sills away at the door, and blocked it Am I the asshole for treating my stepson differently to my biological son? I am a mother to my biological son Kai and a stepmother to my husband James' son from his first marriage, Luca. This subject has been the source of some arguments in our family, so looking to get some honest opinions. James and I have Luca every Thursday, every other weekend and parts of school holidays. Luca's mother remarried a man who is a lot wealthier than us, and so the kid has a lot of nice stuff, designer clothes, games, consoles, goes on fancy holidays with them, etc. We aren't on the poverty line by any means, but times are tough and we don't have a lot of disposable income right now. This December I want James, Kai and I to go on holiday because we haven't been away at all this year. James wants Luca to come because he thinks it isn't fair if Kai goes on holiday and he doesn't. However, Luca has been on fancy holidays abroad twice this year with his mum and stepdad, and we would struggle to afford flights, meals, etc. for a fourth person. We didn't really argue about this, as I think if James can find the money then Luca definitely should come, but it's more about this perceived unfairness that I think isn't true. Because by that logic it's unfair on Kai that he didn't also get to go on 3 holidays this year. I don't think that's true, I'm just saying that logic cuts both ways. The unfairness rose its head last week again though, when I bought Kai a Nintendo Switch because he did really well at school, and I didn't have the money at the end of the school year, but I do now. James said to get big presents for one child and not the other was again unfair. It didn't seem to matter that Kai's was a reward and that Luca has a Switch already anyway, but that I can't treat them differently. James gave another example that I occasionally take Kai to the cinema on a Tuesdays. We have 2-for-1 tickets on Tuesdays with our car insurance, but not on a Thursday when Luca can come. This is treating them unfairly even though it's purely a ticket cost thing. Cinemas are so expensive if 4 of you go, of course. Luca goes all the time with his mum and stepdad. So now I'm a bad stepmother because of these examples. And I'm so frustrated by it. I love Luca and I'm not trying to exclude him at all, but our kids are in different situations and surely it's unfair on Kai to not do nice things for him if we can't necessarily do it for both every single time. James has been quite nasty. He has a bit of a temper, suggesting I'm not happy to have Luca as my stepson, when that isn't true at all. Am I the asshole? Edit: Kai is James' biological son. Sorry, I thought that was obvious, but I realize it's only obvious to me. Edit: 2 Yes, we should have amended the plans for the holiday to go to a more affordable place so that we can bring Luca, rather than making it reliant on the funds being available. I 100% accept that, and I feel like an absolute idiot and a dreadful person for not immediately doing so. Not the asshole. The movie issue: the movie deal isn't on a day that Luca is there, so the point is moot, unless you are taking Kai on days Luca is there and leaving Luca home, which you are not. The Nintendo Switch issue: if you get Luca something big, what will Luca's parents get Kai that is big? Nothing. The vacation issue: if you going on vacation is during time that Luca would normally be with you, then you should be taking him with you. If not, then you have no need to. Not the asshole. I however think Luca should be asked to go on holiday with you because it's not about holiday, it's about quality time with his dad. Regarding the other things, I think your husband should grow up. Aren't you allowed to do anything fun when Luca isn't there, which is the majority of the time? I don't see a problem with the doesn't stop because Luca is with his mum. And I don't see a problem with the reward switch so long as Luca is similarly awarded things for success, but taking a family vacation without Luca is not okay. It is all of you, including your husband, saying Luca is not part of the family. Nah. I think you are both advocating for quality time with your children. I do have a suggestion though. You say, this December I want James, Kai and I to go on holiday because we haven't been away at all this year. Maybe it would be better if it's just you and Kai that go on a holiday together, and then James and Luca can do their own vacation together as well. It honestly sounds like your partner is feeling insecure in his ability to provide for both of their children and is taking that insecurity out on you and your son. I really don't see how any of this is unfair to your stepchild or how rectifying the situation as your partner sees fit will make it more fair. Wouldn't it just make it unfair in your bio kid's favor this way, since he doesn't get all the same things that stepkid gets from his legal guardians? Not the asshole, but I think your partner is for projecting his feeling onto you and for potentially alienating his kids from each other and himself with this fairness nonsense. As a father of now adult men, I can tell you the first thing I struggled with when parenting two children with different needs. Parenting them individually to their specific needs but having the appearance of equity fairness. Take both view this as a fair thing and perhaps have a shared memory to bond over. If not, you're essentially admitting and hardening the differences between the two permanently. Info: how is this vacation being paid for? Because I'm curious why you're saying your stepson can come as long as your husband figures out how to pay for him. Why aren't you figuring this out together? You can't look at it that Luca's parents don't get Kai anything, so where's the fairness? Your husband is Luca's father, Kai is not related to anyone in the richer household. Luca might have been on 2 vacations already, but not with his father. You need to change how you are looking at things. Nata: how does Luca feel? Honestly, when people have money, I find they don't actually care about it as much as people who don't. He probably doesn't even realize that Kai got the Switch and he didn't type deal. I get the holiday thing, but has James talked to his ex to see if they can work out a deal? Kai shouldn't lose out. This seems like a shitty situation, but James is not helping. Your husband is making really unfair comparisons. It should more focus on what you as a mother are doing for Kai and what Luca's mother is doing for Luca. Similarly, if one were to compare how Luca's stepdad treats Luca, is your husband treating Kai similarly? I guess not, so why don't you start making those comparisons, of how the stepdads treat their stepsons, and then see if your husband understands the issue. Not the asshole BTW. ESH: not bringing Luca at this age will hurt his relationship with your husband, now and in the future. You deserve alone time with your son, so I think the movie time is nice. The Switch example is fine alone too. But to exclude from what otherwise looks like a family vacation is different. That's how it's going to be remembered. It doesn't matter he went on trips with his mom, this is a trip and precious time with dad. You aren't the R for going to movies with only Kai. You are allowed to do mother-son things with your son. Not enough of the Switch, as that was a reward for hard work. Now, your husband can agree to give Luca a reward for his hard work. You would be an R to go on vacation without him. It doesn't matter if Luca goes on several vacations with his mother and stepfather. This is a family vacation, and that is something you should all do together. Since you asked only about the vacation, you're the asshole. You're the asshole. You're failing to realize something. Yes, Luca has been on 3 vacations this year. But your husband has had 0 vacations with him this year. So don't you think when he gets one he would like his son to be with him? I don't think the situations you're comparing are the same thing though. Because you are Luca's stepmother and your husband is his father, Luca's mom is no one to you nor your son. It really shouldn't matter that you give your child gifts, but the vacation? Go alone with your son. Kai gets more time with James than Luca does. Also, I don't know why, but I was getting like bad vibes from the way you talk about Luca getting gifts and vacations. Anyway, you're the asshole. I feel like anything that happens at his mom's is irrelevant. When he is with you guys, he should be treated the same as your son regardless of how many vacations he goes on with his other side of the family. Why would you want to miss out on making those amazing memories with him by not having him with you on a family trip? Seems spiteful to punish him by not taking him because he already got to go twice this year. You're the asshole. It's not about the number of holidays that Luca gets to go on versus holidays for Kai. It's about Luca getting the quality time with his dad. Info: who is paying for the trip? Both families have different living situations and setups. Luca's mom and stepdad have 1 child at least that you mention. You and your husband have 2 children. Time to act accordingly. You're the asshole if you intentionally take a vacation that his other kid can't attend. Am I the asshole for abandoning my daughter on vacation? My wife and I have always dreamed of celebrating our 40th anniversary with a luxurious vacation. Just the two of us, reliving the romance of our early years. We had it all planned out for years now and were excited beyond words. Enter our adult daughter Jane. Jane and her husband got wind of our plans and promptly invited themselves and their two children 9F, 5M along. I originally put my foot down and told them this trip was just for us, which upset her some. But my wife has a hard time saying no to Jane, as she is the youngest of our children and our only daughter, and she didn't want to hurt her feelings, so she reluctantly agreed to let them join. I wasn't thrilled about it at the time, but I wanted to make my family happy, and I knew my wife was also okay with the idea of a family trip. Even if she was heartbroken we wouldn't get our romantic trip. We went along with it. The place we were originally going was not child-friendly, so we changed course and decided on an all-inclusive family-friendly resort. We paid for the resort and our grandchildren's plane tickets. Jane and her husband only had to pay for their own airfare. Here's where things get complicated. As the vacation got closer, I started having a change of heart. I realized that our 40th anniversary was a once-in-a-lifetime milestone, and I wanted to honor it in a way that was true to our original plans. My wife and I might not be able to afford a trip like this again for quite some time, and it's something we always wanted to do. So, without consulting anyone, I switched our tickets last minute to go to the romantic destination that my wife and I had originally planned for. I did not tell Jane or her husband. I didn't even tell my wife until the day before our flight left, which was a day before Jane's flight left for their vacation. It wasn't an easy decision and I feel guilty about it. But I wanted our 40th anniversary to be the special, intimate celebration we had always hoped for. We called Jane after we landed to tell her, and she was extremely upset, to say the least. She seemed of the idea that we were going to look after our grandkids so she and her husband could have alone time, and now that I abandoned her they would have to do it all themselves. I hung up on them when my son-in-law started shouting, and my wife and I enjoyed the rest of our trip. They came back the same day we did but have not answered any of our texts, and Jane seems to be ignoring me. My wife told me she vastly preferred our trip to the family trip we would have taken, but she still doesn't like how Jane is mad at us and wants me to apologize. I'm not sure I want to after learning Jane and her husband were using us for free babysitting and a free trip, but I feel like I should just to keep the peace. Am I the asshole for changing our trip destination last minute and leaving Jane and her family to fend for themselves? Not the asshole. I laughed my butt off when I read you switched back to the romantic vacation. Good for you and your bride of 40 years. Your daughter still are entitled ours. I glad the truth came out that they wanted you to be childcare for their vacation. I just can't believe the nerve of some people. Congratulations on your 40th. You deserved the holiday of your dreams, not your entitled child's dream, your nightmare. Not the asshole. She tried to turn your romantic anniversary getaway into their free romantic getaway plus free babysitters. She can go think about what kind of crappy behavior that was. Nice move. Nata, and hear what you tell your daughter. Sweetheart, I'm so sorry that you barged in on my and your mother's anniversary trip and guilt us into paying for you and your husband and kids to come along for free, and I'm sorry that instead of you forcing us to babysit your kids on a vacation I paid for, you had to actually be a parent while your mother and I enjoyed our anniversary together alone like was originally planned. I'm just so sorry you're upset that you got a free vacation. End apology. ESH. Yes, you should have been firm initially, but you caved in. So then sneaking around and changing all the plans without telling your daughter or even asking your wife was absurd. Now everyone's angry and upset. So if my parents-in-laws paid for a trip for me and my family then bailed out but I still had an almost free trip, the last thing I would do is complain. I think it was sweet you did not put your wife in the situation to be the bad guy and took the brunt of the ire. But what kind of monster did you all create that your kid is still mad? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Honestly, it sounds like you dodged a last-minute bullet, especially with it seeming as though their plan was to have you all watch their kids. Very proud of you for that decision and ultimately choosing your happiness. Your daughter is grown and hopefully they make it to their 40th to get the same trip. Yes, your kid sticks for obvious reasons. But dear Lord, just say no. The last-minute switching was what made you an R. That's so childish. Just say no up front. Not the asshole. She made her reasons for wanting to go with you perfectly clear. Changing without telling her might seem harsh, but I happily admit I laughed when I read it. Good for you. Not the asshole. The only apology Jane would get from me would be along the lines of I'm sorry that you weren't able to use me for free babysitting after ruining my trip. They expected you to spend your anniversary being babysitters for their kids while they enjoyed the holiday you paid for. That was not going to be a holiday for you, merely babysitting at a different location than normal. You were right to change your destination to the original one last minute. They should never have invited themselves to your holiday in the first place. If you had told them about the change before going, they would have soured the holiday before it began with their complaining and sense of entitlement. Not the asshole. Not the asshole at all. Jane basically tried to sabotage your anniversary. You guys have spoiled her rotten by succumbing to all her requests. Just ignore her and I bet she'll pop up at your house when she needs a free babysitter. Not the asshole, although you should have just put your foot down in the beginning. You should have said we are going on a romantic vacation, just the two of us, for our milestone 40th anniversary. Not the asshole. Your own daughter wants you two to be babysitters on your anniversary. You have raised an entitled daughter. Ignore her and don't babysit for her anymore. Not the asshole at all. Sorry, but Jane is entitled and spoiled. She didn't want a family vacation, she wanted free babysitting, and the idea she would take advantage of your wife on a milestone anniversary trip makes her the R. Enjoyed the quiet. She'll be back when she needs something. Congratulations on your 40th. Edit words. So you paid for their trip and for their kids' plane tickets, and they wanted you to babysit on your 40th anniversary trip? There are some AHs here, but it's not you or your wife. Your daughter is a huge one and totally tried to take advantage of you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You didn't do anything wrong. Your daughter was definitely planning to use you for free babysitting services on your anniversary. Not the asshole. Wow. Lining you guys up to watch their children on your vacation, the vacation that you paid for. No, I would not apologize because there is nothing to apologize for. What she and her harebrained husband did was overstepping boundaries and immature. You should have never paid for them to go with you. Not the asshole. And you sure raised a selfish daughter who married an R. They could care less about your anniversary, they just wanted built-in babysitters. Let them be, and no, you are not the asshole, but the two of them certainly are. Not the asshole. But, and I mean this in the kindest tone that I know you can't hear through text, you need to practice the word no. That's it. Just, sparkles, no, sparkles, and then move along. You even still paid the large expenses of their vacation that no one was offering? For God's sake. The entitlement is disgusting. Not the asshole. Your daughter and son-in-law are very selfish for trying to hijack your special time together. Not the asshole. Show your wife all these comments so she can see that no way in hell does your daughter get an apology. The fact that your son-in-law had the audacity to yell at your wife after y'all gave them a free vacation should have you more heated than anything. Let your daughter sulk all she wants. Not the asshole. This was meant to be your anniversary trip. If Jane wanted her own anniversary trip with her husband, she should have planned it and arranged babysitting for her own kids. It is not your responsibility to babysit Jane's kids so she can enjoy what is meant to be your trip. Jane is the R. Am I the asshole for telling my autistic co-worker that he wasn't invited? I work with a guy that told us right away that he is autistic in order for us not to question his unusual behavior, like his special interest in Barbie dolls. There is nothing wrong with that, and we refused to admit him there. He said that my dad was old, and that injecting unnecessary medicines would just cause him more suffering and prolong it. That he deserved to pass away peacefully at home. I told him that was ridiculous and that I am going to get him treated. He flipped out at that and said he should be the one making the decision as he's older and that I have no idea what I am talking about. I said I don't care, and that he can't stop me from getting my father medical treatment. He and his girlfriend protested, but I wouldn't budge. He asked me how I would pay the money as it would be really expensive. I told him I will use what I can, but that I would mortgage the house by asking my father to give me power of attorney if funds were low. He was conscious even though he was really unwell. He got mad at that and said I can't threaten to spend his inheritance or blackmail him, and to mind my language. But as I wouldn't back down, he reluctantly agreed with it. He didn't accompany me immediately but showed up to the hospital later to check on him, etc. He was also having a long conversation with my dad in private with his girlfriend and seemed to care a lot now. But he's not talking to me because he said I don't know how to respect him and that I was being really discourteous, etc. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. X200B. 1. I realize it might be an uncomfortable conversation to have, but you need to discuss this with your father and see what he would like to do regarding treatment. X200B. 2. Your brother is a huge jar not only because he is not entitled to anything your dad has, but the fact that your dad is not even dead and all he can think is how much money he gonna get is just not the asshole. And this, people, is why you should always have power of attorney and power of medical attorney papers drawn up as soon as you can. I hope your dad can tell you what he wants and get those papers signed along with a DNR. Except dad. You and your brother need to both sit with him and discuss this now. How does he want to pass? And if the house is written as his inheritance, then you can't mortgage it against both their wishes. Time to stop thinking about rudeness. This is literally life and death. You have to face it yourself one day, and the courtesy of doing so before they die is important. Your dad is still alive, so it is his asset, not your brother's inheritance, nor yours to mortgage. You don't mention any competency issues for your father if he is competent enough to sign a power of attorney. He is also currently competent enough to make his own decisions about a mortgage. ESH. Why are you and your brother not even consulting your father about what he wants? Info. How old is your father? ESH. What does your dad want? I see no mention of what he wants. Neither of you seem to have actually taken the effort to talk to him, considering he is conscious. ESH. 1. Talk with your dad about what he wants to do. 2. Don't talk to your brother about what he wants to do for your dad. ESH. Except your dad. It is his decision. You're the asshole. Neither of you have even talked to your dad about treatment, but certainly have ironclad opinions. He's of sound mind. He gets to decide how he's treated. He gets to decide how it's paid for. He gets to decide if the house is mortgaged. You both suck. If the hospital has a palliative care team, get them involved. It's their job to help patients and families discuss end-of-life care. If they don't have it, speak with his physician. Bottom line is, if your father is competent, the decision is his. I would ask your dad what he wants. But he's not talking to me because he said I don't know how to respect him. Your brother is a lot of significant and negative choice words, and I wouldn't trust him to not do something wicked behind your back. Take legal precautions now, and your brother needs to kick rocks. It's entirely likely he's refusing treatment for your dad so he dies sooner, and gets his money. That's the only reason he and his GF showed up now. It was concern for the cash. Not the asshole. ESH, you should study palliative care. You're the asshole, and a huge one. If your father doesn't want care and wants to live out his final days at home because he's unwell, the right thing to do is contact a palliative care physician and discuss hospice. If he's that unwell, forcing medical care on him is cruel and inhumane. Let your father die with dignity if those are his wishes. Forcing him to get care he doesn't want is so incredibly selfish of you. Your brother is right, you are so profoundly wrong. Your brother didn't want your dad to have medical treatment because he didn't want to spend his inheritance on it. That's as cold as fuck. Your poor dad isn't even dead yet. TBH, I'd be watching bro very carefully around your dad. Not the asshole. Needs more info. How old is your dad? What is he sick with? What does your dad want regarding treatment? This shouldn't be up to either of you unless your father is unable to make decisions, and then decisions should be made with his wants in mind. It seems like you are both thinking only of yourself, although your brother is definitely the asshole for the comment about the inheritance. Nah, tough decision. Not sure if he's being callous to be greedy or if you're planning to blow money in a futile effort. You're the asshole judging by your comments. All I hear is me, and even if your father chose no treatment, you would force him for your own benefit. After reading your comments, I am going with ESH. Except your father. Your brother is being greedy and only thinking about the money. However, you are also in the wrong for not asking your father what he wants. In a situation like this where he is doing poorly and most likely won't make it very long, it is up to the person who is ill to decide what they do. If he wants to go, then that is his choice, and as hard as it would be, you have to let him go. If he chooses treatment, then again, his decision. It's not yours or your brother's decision to make. Not the asshole. Your brother wants your father to die for his inheritance. I've seen it far more often than you'd think. It's disgusting what money does to people. Is he sick with a treatable condition? This is so vague. As in, if he's sick with something he could recover from with treatment, your brother is a complete monster. If you're pushing your father into having chemo to extend his life for 6 months, that should only be done if your father wants it. It's hard to say who's right with the details you gave. Info: what's your dad's stance on all of this? What does he want? Does he want treatment or does he want to pass peacefully? In the end, it's his opinion that matters and not your brother's or yours. You both need to talk to your dad about this together. It's your dad's choice. I personally would not want to create unnecessary medical bills for my family just to buy a little more time, especially if the quality of that time is going to be poor. ESH: assuming your dad is of sound mind, what he wants is all that should matter. Have you asked him? ESH: this is your father's choice. Not the asshole, and your brother is but it's a decision from your dad. What your dad wants. You're the asshole. You're selfish for making decisions for someone that could very well be capable of making his own decisions. If your father is at peace with the inevitable, then it's not up to you to decide otherwise. You should have asked your father instead of taking things in your own hands. ESH: but given the circumstances, I understand your position. This is the kind of discussion that you should have when your parents are still healthy. There are quite a few elderly with a DNR, but the family should know about it. I knew my mother would never want to be in a care home and wouldn't want to be given CPR. In the end, she was able to choose her own time to leave us, and it helped knowing she was ready to go. Just be glad your father isn't a widow in India, being declared dead and inherited from without waiting for them to actually die. This is not your decision or your brother's. It's your dad's. ESG: your dad is conscious. It is his decision. Stop being brats and worrying about your inheritance. Find out what your dad wants to do. Not the asshole. Sounds like your brother wants the house. Not the asshole. X200B. Your dad's house will be used to pay for his treatment. Well done. Am I the asshole? For not giving my engagement ring to dead fiancé family? Deleted account, because my new job friends knows my usual account, they don't know about me used to be engaged. Dead fiancé named John. I'll start at the beginning, about 4 years ago. I was engaged to John, after dating for 4 years. When he proposed, the ring he used was 2 sizes too big. We went to the store that he bought it from 2 weeks before proposing. He kept the receipt. Gotten the right size, kept same style. We did plan to have a wedding, after 3 years of planning, saving. 10 months after the proposal, John passed away in a car accident. I used the savings for wedding to pay for his funeral. The day after the funeral, John's brother came to me asking for the ring. I asked why. His response was that the ring had been passed down their family for 5 generations. Told him that was BS, because I have proof of the ring was brought for me, less than a year ago. We argued for a bit. He then stormed out. Then I get the calls from John's family, saying I'm a liar, demanding the ring. Then I got a letter from their lawyer. In the letter they also demanded that I reimburse them for costs of John's funeral. So I got myself a lawyer, showed the proof about the ring I paid for the funeral. In court I won. I thought that madness was over, until John's sister recently messaged me. She her BF are engaged, but haven't gotten a ring. She wants John's ring. After I said no, she went crazy, messaging non-stop, demanding. I have blocked her over, but she finds a way around it. I was having brunch with my friend, my mobile was on the table, a message from sister popped up. My friend saw it. My friend knows about everything, before sister's first message. I explained about her messages. Friend believes I should give her the ring. She told my other friends, they are all saying the things. Now I'm doubting myself. So am I the asshole? Talk to a lawyer. You are being harassed by the greedy, lying, litigious family of your deceased partner. None of them deserve a damned thing from you, much less your engagement ring your fiancé bought you. His sister can get her ring out if a gumball machine for all you care. It is not your problem or responsibility to provide her with jewelry. Not the asshole. And you need better friends, if they are siding with the sister. Your ring was important to you. It is yours. Why would you ever lose it? I would have your lawyer send a cease and desist letter to the sister demanding that she stop harassing you. Sometimes a lawyer letter can be enough to shut people up. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And what kind of friends are these? I think you need to reassess. They either don't know that the ring was purchased for you as an engagement ring, a romantic gift that has nothing to do with his family, or they aren't people who care about you. Not the asshole. This ring was purchased for you by your fiancé, with the intent that you be the one to wear it. Although I am sympathetic that John's family is still grieving, this was intended by your fiancé to be yours, not his family's heirloom. Sorry for your loss. I hope your friends will come around to understand why you hold on to this ring. Not the asshole. It would be a little different if the ring were a family heirloom, but it clearly isn't. Perhaps you should get a restraining order, or sue for harassment? Not the asshole. I'm really sorry they are harassing you. Block them on everything and if necessary get a restraining order if that's a thing where you live. You suffered a horrible loss and the engagement ring is yours to remember John by. Plus you paid for the funeral. These people are next level audacious, taking you to court and then continuing to demand the ring. Not the asshole. If the ring isn't a family heirloom and was bought for you, I think it's more than fair that you keep it, especially as something that means so much. You already paid for his funeral and I think that was very kind of you as a fiancé and not a wife. Get your lawyer to make them stop harassing you. I guess the only silver lining here is that you won't be entangled with these people forever. Not the asshole. You have a stalker. You might want to contact the lawyer you used for that court case and ask for some advice. Not the asshole. Tell those wannabe thieves where to go, and tell your friends they're welcome to pony up for her ring. Then block the lot of them. Sorry for your loss. No one who is an actual friend of yours would suggest you give away your engagement ring. John's family sounds like a band of grifters. Just keep blocking them, or you could tell them you've sold the ring and donated the money to John's favorite charity, so even if you were so inclined you couldn't give them the ring. Not the asshole. The whole part about the brother contacting you the day after John died and lying about it being a family heirloom is super creepy, and then trying to sue you for funeral expenses that you'd already paid is bizarre. Not the asshole. Your fiancé's entire family and your so-called friend are the us. Not sure whether you can get a restraining order for this sort of thing, but seeing as it's been proved in court that they haven't got a leg to stand on, it might be worth looking into it. Not the asshole. John's family is absolutely nuts and money grubbing. John bought that ring for you because he loved you and wanted to marry you. It's a token of your love. Shame on them, their behavior is deplorable. I'm so sorry you're going through this, and I'm so sorry that his family aren't being more supportive of you and your shared loss, or at the very least leaving you the hell alone. Lawyer up, get a restraining order or something. You deserve peace and I hope you get it. Not the asshole, in any way. That family is awful. They tried to make you pay for the funeral twice and now they want you to give them such a precious and personal as an engagement ring. Get a restraining order if possible. Not the asshole. Jesus, these people are unhinged. To tell not just one, but two so obvious and easily disproven lies is bad enough. But to take you to court to prove it? This is madness. I don't know what they are on, but you should look into getting a restraining order for the whole lot of them. I'm sorry about your fiancé. I can't imagine how heartbroken you are. I hope your family and other friends are more supportive than the one who said you were in the wrong. You are not. Not the asshole. Report all these deranged parasites for harassment, attempted extortion, and if they lied during the court case, your lawyers can prove it for perjury too. Your friend is a jerk. If she is so keen to gift expensive engagement rings to freeloader random strangers, she is welcome to message John's sister and arrange to take her ring shopping. Not the asshole. They're treating it as though because the wedding didn't happen you aren't part of the family nor deserving of the ring he gave you, and it's not fair to not ask, but demand that you give it up when it's a treasured gift he gave you before passing. They're being so low and terrible, and I'm sorry you going through that. Not the asshole. I would start looking at my friends differently if they thought otherwise. Not the asshole. You also were not next of kin at the time of his death and his parents should have paid for the funeral. I think you need to block these people. They are next level crazy. Absolutely not. This was a gift from John to you and I presume very special to you since he passed away before you could get married. I have no idea why they remotely think they have a right to it or why your friend would side with them. Reconsider that friendship but keep the ring. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. That family has some nerve. So do your so-called friends. Not the asshole. It really seems like they think the ring is a family heirloom. Your friends are as unhinged as his family. Either you're leaving something out or you move in the most irrational of circles. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. What that family has done and is doing is utter lunacy. That is your ring. Not the asshole, but also ditch these friends of yours. First of all, not the asshole, do what feels right to you. A better group of friends. Where is John's parents in all of this? Why didn't they or his family pay for his funeral? What kind of lawyer did his family have that allowed their case against you to escalate to court proceedings to recoup funeral expenses if they didn't pay for it and had no proof they paid for it nor proof that the ring was theirs? Something doesn't make sense with all that. In regards to your question, obviously not the asshole. Keep blocking, and if the harassment continues, contact the police. They are not your friends. Nata, and sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Your friend is just wrong. Not the asshole. they sounds like a horrible group of creatures. Am I the asshole? For not wanting to sleep in the same bed as my girlfriend's body pillow? I have a girlfriend who's autistic. Normally I wouldn't bring this up, but it is relevant to this story. She's pretty high functioning, but the main way her autism affects her is a really strong special interest in one specific fictional character. I've never had an issue with this, and I try to keep up with whatever's going on in the fandom for her and listen to her info dumping about her favorite character on a regular basis. About a year ago, my girlfriend got a body pillow of her favorite character. I didn't really have an issue with it, as we have a very large bed with more than enough room for something like a body pillow. The body pillow wasn't even that weird as far as body pillows go. It's just her favorite character wearing her normal outfit on one side and a simple dress on the other. Definitely not weird compared to other kinds of body pillows out there. Recently, my girlfriend told me she's getting more covers and another pillow in her so she can have 2 body pillows to sleep with at once. I was more apprehensive about this as our bed is big, but 2 5-feet-long pillows plus 2 people feels like it would be pushing it. She assured me that if it was really an issue, she could go back to only sleeping with one, or alternatively lay one of them Lincoln style and use it as a regular pillow, so I agreed to it once again. The real issue arose when the pillow covers actually arrived yesterday. She did get another cover of her favorite character, as I'd expected, but what I hadn't was that she'd also gotten a cover featuring her favorite character's dad. I'd always known she had a little crush on him, but I never thought it would go that far. Worse, this pillow isn't just him in a normal outfit like her original one. One of the sides full on has his dick and balls out for the world to see. I told my girlfriend that I'm putting my foot down, and I refuse to sleep in a bed with another man, even if that man is a pillow. She said that that's ridiculous, it's not like he's real, and one of the sides is SFW, so if I'm really uncomfortable she can just keep it flipped to that side. I said that I still don't feel comfortable with that. I know I wouldn't be able to forget the uncomfortably detailed dick lying in wait on the other side of the pillow, especially if I have to sleep right next to it. She said she can put the pillow with her favorite character who's female between us, and keep the dad pillow firmly on her side of the bed, but I said I just don't want him in my bed at all. She's pretty pissed about it. Her body pillows are pretty expensive, since she has to get the art custom drawn and then custom printed, and it's not something you can return. The dad character really doesn't have any superfans other than her, so it's not like there's some other girl she can possibly try to sell him to either. I know she's been saving for this pillow a long time, so I do feel guilty saying she can't cuddle with it. Am I the asshole? Info: which characters are they? Not the asshole. Detailed dick lying in wait and I'm Lamau. Anyway, I think you're being pushed out of your shared bed space by her choice of pillows. That's seriously not fair. She either has to cut back or you two need separate beds. It's way too crowded there. Two's company, three's a crowd, as the old saying goes. This is the craziest shit I've heard all day. I love the internet. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I feel like a nude body pillow is inherently sexual, and thus everyone sleeping in that bed needs to 100% be comfortable for it to be there. Not the asshole. I'm fine with body pillows, but I would not want to sleep next to one that's fully nude. Info is balls out Trigon planning on helping with the rent or chores. In this economy, maybe make a little space for a pillow that contributes to the household. I think I'd be uncomfortable with my partner bringing a blow-up doll into my bed. It's the same thing in a way. If it was consensual and you both got some sort of pleasure, sure. But the detailed whiner makes this a sex object, not merely a comfort item. Nata. Not the asshole. The fact the pillow guy is naked is very weird. Not the asshole. It sounds like you're generally very supportive of her special interest, but ultimately, her body pillow depicts another man naked. You're well within your rights to be uncomfortable with that. Especially if the full frontal nudity isn't a feature of the character narrative generally but something your girlfriend has specifically commissioned because she has a crush on the character. That's going beyond just a special interest, and it sounds like you need to have a proper conversation with her about your boundaries. Velp, I'll be closing the internet for today. God, this sub is the gift that keeps on giving. Next time my husband complains about my pregnancy pillow, I'm gonna show him this post. Tell your girlfriend that her friend can sleep on the couch. You didn't plan to make room for 4 people when you bought the bed, at least I hope not. Not the asshole. This is exactly why I downloaded Reddit. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. At this point, with the genitalia, the pillow is a sex toy. She bought it to be aroused by it. It's a kink and you are entitled to feel uncomfortable with it and non-consensual genitalia in your bed. It's a bit creepy. She clearly knew it would have been creepy and chose not to tell you what it was when you were able to say it was uncomfortable. Let her hump her pillows in peace. No, but that's weird AF. Almost as cringe as bronies and furries. Besides being totally blunt about it, I have no idea what I'd do. I don't think the pillow itself would bother me as much as the GF wanting the pillow in the first place would. Nata. 2 body pillows, in a bed with 2 people is pretty ridiculous to me, and I have nerve issues that sometimes mean Terry's exactly one specific position I can sleep in, and the NSFW graphics is also pretty out there. Not the asshole. Off topic, but can someone make the flare with the uncomfortably detailed declining in weight please? Not the asshole. That's not a body pillow. That's weird porn, in bed with you on a daily basis. She's free to like what she likes, but that doesn't mean you have to. It's your bed too. I think you've been both accommodating and reasonable so far. This is a perfectly normal boundary. Not the asshole. I wouldn't want to do that either. It's your space as well and she should respect that, autism or not. Being autistic can't be a crutch to doing whatever you want. Not the asshole. Also, I was not expecting Trigon lol. Not the asshole. It sounds to me like you're really trying to share her interest, be accommodating however you want to say it. It would seem to me that her meeting you halfway would be fair. I personally wouldn't be cool with the type of pillow covering you describe, but that's just me. Try and have another discussion about it with her, without issuing the ultimatum that you did. The detailed dick is kinda off-putting. I would feel weird sleeping next to a dude's body pillow if it had a detailed image of a naked woman. I don't blame you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She got a custom make man printed on a full-sized body pillow and is surprised that didn't go over well with her boyfriend. Yay, I don't care autistic or not, that's crazy. Not the asshole. You need to draw the line somewhere, and seeing your GF staring at her favorite dick pillow every night is far beyond that line, neurodivergent or not. Not the asshole. I'm crying reading this, WTF. Also, if she gets it custom made, it means she asked for the artist to draw the ache. Not the asshole. She basically brought porn into your shared bed with that pillow cover. No shame or anything, but it is something both people have to agree to. Can one of you sew some undies on the guy? Lol. This is going into fetish territory and it's fair that you don't want to be a part of it. At this point I would suggest separate beds. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I don't care if she has autism, this behavior is inappropriate and she needs to be told so or go back to being single. The world in this relationship doesn't revolve around her every single desire. Not the asshole. And you've been way too tolerant. The problem with being overly tolerant, even if your partner is on the spectrum, is that people who are the ones being tolerated will always reach for more to test boundaries and push to get what they want at the expense and comfort of those who tolerate it. You really gotta put your foot down. Also, personally, I'd stop calling it him, it's a fucking pillow. Not the asshole. Lamau naked Trigon body pillow. Ha 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 ha, that's FCK up. with huge red dick and balls flailing around. Jesus. I laugh too much.